Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadhari. Jashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadhari. Jashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we're studying Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto number 3, Chapter 26, entitled Fundamental Principles of Material Nature. And today we'll be studying text number 9. Devahute Uvacha Prakritehe Purushasya Api Lakshanam Purusha Uttama Bruhi Karanayoho Asya Sat Asat Cha Yat Atmakam Devahutirvacha Prakrite Purushasyapi Lakshanang Purushottama Bruhi Karanayorasya Sad Asachcha Yad Atmakam Devahutirvacha Prakrite Purushasyapi Lakshanang Purushottama Bruhi Karanayorasya Sadasachcha Yad Atmakam Devahutirvacha Prakrite Purushasyapi Lakshanang Purushottama Bruhi Karanayorasya Sarasascha Yadatmakam
Devahutir Vacha
Devahutirvacha
Prakrite Krupasyapi Prakrite Purushasyapi
Krite Purushasyapi
Lakshanam Purushottama
Lakshanam Purushottama
Bruhi Karanayorasya
Bruhi Karanayorasya
Sarasachcha Yadatmakam
Sarasascha Yadatmakam
Devahutir Uvacha
Devahutirvacha
Prakrite Purushasyapi
Prakrite Purushasyapi
Lakshanam Purushottama
Lakshanam Purushottama
Bruhika Ranayorasya
Bruhi Karanayorasya
Sad Asachcha Yad Atmakam
Sarasascha Yadatmakam
Devahutirvacha
Prakrite Purushasyapi
Prakrite Purushasyapi
Lakshanam Purushottama
Lakshanam Purushottama
Bruhi Karanayorasya
Bruhi Karanayorasya
Sarasascha yadatmakam.
Sadasachcha yadatmakam.
Devahutirvacha
Devahutirvacha
Prakrite Purushasyapi
Prakrite Purushasyapi
Kshanam Purushottama
Lakshanam Purushottama
Ruhi Karanayorasya
Bruhi Karanayorasya
Sarasatcha Yadatmakam
Sadasachcha yadatmakam.
Devahutiruvacha
Devahutiruvacha
Prakrite Purushasyapi
Prakrite Purushasyapi
Lakshanam Purushottama
Lakshanam Purushottama
Bruhi Karanayorasya
Bruhi Karanayorasya
Sadasachayatadatmakam
Sadasachcha yadatmakam.
Devahutir Uvacha
Devahutiruvacha
Bhakta Purasapyapi
Prakrite Purushasyapi
Laksham Purasatama
Lakshanam Purushottama
Bruhi Karana Asya
Bruhi Karanayorasya
Sadasachya Adakam
Sadasachcha yadatmakam. Devahutiruvacha
Prakrite Purushasyapi
Lakshanam Purushottama Bruhi Karanayorasya
Sadasachcha yadatmakam
Sadasachcha yadatmakam.
Devahutiruvacha
Devahutiruvacha
Prakrite Purushasyapi
Prakrite Purushasyapi
Lakshanam Purushottama
Lakshanam Purushottama
Bruhi Karanayorasya
Bruhi Karanayorasya
Sat Asatcha Yatatmakam
Sadasachcha yadatmakam.
Online, please chant.
Devahutiruvacha
Devahutiruvacha
Prakriteः Purushasyapi
Prakrite purushasyapi
Purushasyapi
Lakshanam Purushottamam
lakshanam
Lakshanam
purushottama.
Purushottama
Bruhi Karanayorasya
Bruhi
Ruhi
karanayo
Karanayorasya
Tat Asatcha Yadatmakam
sadasachya.
Sarasatcha Yadatmakam
देवहूतिरुवाच
Devahutiruvacha
प्रकृतेर्पुरुषस्यापि
Prakrite Purushasyapi
लक्षणं पुरुषोत्तमा
Lakshanam Purushottama
कारणयोरस्य
Ruhi Karanayorasya
सद् असत्श्च यत् आत्मकम्
Sarasatcha Yadatmakam
Devahutiruvacha
Devahutiruvacha
Prakrite Purushasyapi
Prakrite Purushasyapi
Lakshanam Purushottama
Lakshanam Purushottama
Bruhi Karanayorasya
Ruhi Karanayorasya
Sadasatcha Yadatmakam
Sarasatcha Yadatmakam
Devahutir Uvacha
Devahutiruvacha
Prakrite Purushasyapi
Prakrite Purushasyapi
Lakshanam Purushottama
Lakshanam Purushottama
Ruhi Karanayor Asya
Ruhi Karanayorasya
Sarasachayat Atmakam
Sarasachcha Yadatmakam Devahuti
said,
Devahuti
Prakritehe, of his energies, Purushasya, of the Supreme Person, Api, also, Lakshanam, characteristics, Purusha Uttama, O Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bruhe, kindly explain. Karanayoho, causes. Asya, of this creation. Sat asat, manifest and unmanifest. Cha, and. Yat atmakam, consisting of which. Devahuti said, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, kindly explain the characteristics of the Supreme Person and his energies, for both of these are the causes of this manifest and unmanifest creation. Purport. Prakriti, or material nature, is connected with both the Supreme Lord and the living entities, just as a woman is connected with her husband as a wife and with her children as a mother. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that He impregnates Mother Nature with children, living entities, and thereafter all species of living entities become manifest. The relationship of all living entities with material nature has been explained. Now an understanding of the relationship between material nature and the Supreme Lord is sought by Devahuti. The product of that relationship is stated to be the manifest and unmanifest material world. The unmanifest material world is the subtle Mahat Tattva, and from that Mahat Tattva, the material manifestation has emerged. In the Vedic literatures, it is said that by the glance of the Supreme Lord, the total material energy is impregnated, and then everything is born of material nature. It is also confirmed in the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita that under his glance, Adyakshana, under his direction and by his will, nature is working. It is not that nature works blindly. After understanding the position of the conditioned souls in relation to material nature, Devahuti wanted to know how nature works under the direction of the Lord, and what the relationship is between the material nature and the Lord. In other words, she wanted to learn the characteristics of the Supreme Lord in relation to the material nature. The relationship of living entities with matter and that of the Supreme Lord with matter are certainly not on the same level, although the Mayavadis may interpret it in that way. When it is said that the living entities are bewildered, the Mayavadi philosophers ascribe this bewilderment to the Supreme Lord. But that is not applicable. The Lord is never bewildered. That is the difference between personalists and impersonalists. Devahuti is not unintelligent. She has enough intelligence to understand that the living entities are not on the level of the Supreme Lord. Because the living entities are infinitesimal, they become bewildered and conditioned by material nature. But this does not mean that the Supreme Lord is also conditioned or bewildered. The difference between the conditioned soul and the Lord is that the Lord is the Lord, the master of material nature, and he is therefore not subject to its control. He is controlled neither by spiritual nature nor by material nature. He is the supreme controller himself, and he cannot be compared to the ordinary living entities who are controlled by the laws of material nature. Two words used in this verse are Sat and Asat. The cosmic manifestation is Asat. It does not exist. But the material energy of the Supreme Lord is Sat, or ever existing. Material nature is ever existing in its subtle form as the energy of the Lord, but it sometimes manifests this non-existent or temporarily existent nature, the cosmos. An analogy may be made with the father and mother. The mother and the father exist, but sometimes the mother begets children. Similarly, this cosmic manifestation, which comes from the unmanifest material nature of the Supreme Lord, sometimes appears and again disappears. But the material nature is ever existing, and the Lord is the supreme cause for both the subtle and gross manifestations of this material world. So the verse again. Devahuti said, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, kindly explain the characteristics of the Supreme Person and His energies, for both of these are the causes of this manifest and unmanifest creation. Okay. So we'd love to hear from you, Maharaj. Please let us know if you'd like to make a comment.
Okay, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Okay. And this is a very good example that using the man and the woman as comparison to nature and the Lord. Because that's exactly what it is. The Supreme Lord is the personality of Godhead. And material nature is the pradhan, unmanifest. Sometimes the pregnancy is present and sometimes it's not present. Similarly, sometimes the material energy is manifest and sometimes it's not manifest. So this is not just a cute little analogy to compare nature with God and a man and a woman. Because actually the Supreme Lord is a man, the Supreme Man. And the woman is the Supreme Woman, nature, Prakriti. So in other words, the way things are in our society, in our human society or living entities society, is exactly the way it is on the highest scale. And that's why it takes place like that. That's why there's man, and there's woman, and there's offspring, and there's cycles of birth and death, old age, disease. These cycles are all going on. It's not by accident. Such a finely tuned, perfected system could not be augmented or began by chance, by accident, or by just no plan at all, just unplanned. This is, as Prabhupada says, I was reading yesterday, actually, Prabhupada said that someone who doesn't believe in God is scarcely sane. So you can't really, it's very difficult to call them sane, because how is it possible that such an amazing system could be set up by chance? And that it's exactly the same system that's described in the Vedas, and it's exactly the same system that we see is going on all over the universe. Thank you.
So this is this concept of reflection or similarities between the spiritual world and the reality or sat and the asat is actually described in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. There it's described that the material world is like a tree which has its roots upward and its branches down. And the border or the boundary between the spiritual world, which is where the real tree is, and this reflection tree is desire. And that's the purpose of this Bhagavad Gita and this Gita and this Bhagavatam and our whole practice is we're trying to change our desire through cultivation of knowledge. We get some knowledge, and that knowledge helps us actually engage in devotional service. And so that's what's happening here, is actually Devahuti is inquiring about the Lord. And such topics are called KrishnaKC. KrishnaKC. KR.S.N.A-KATHA with a line. Kata. Like that. So that's one subtlety, is the and and So KrishnaKC. So this KrishnaKC is topics about Krishna, and there's this word samprashna. It means questions, inquiries, And so at the beginning of the Bhagavatam, Sutta Goswami said to the sages of Naimisharanya, headed by Shonaka Rishi, there was an assembly, and the sages headed by Shonaka Rishi were asking Sutta Goswami to talk about Krishna, talk about the Supreme Lord. And he said, oh, very good. These are the perfect type of questions, because such questions can satisfy everybody in the universe. And so that's what's happening here. So Devahuti is asking about the material world, but in relation to God. It's not like, we're here, we experience this, but what is it? How do we make sense of it in relation to the supreme absolute truth? And so Devahuti is not unintelligent. She understands that the Lord is actually a person, right? And he has a relation to the material world, right? But it's not like our relation to the material world. And that's the part that the Mayavadis, they miss that one. And they think that, the personality of Godhead means Krishna when he comes on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, or he spends time in Vrindavan with the gopis or the gopas. They think that that's just the same as me. So we spoke about that yesterday. I'm here in this body and I have my activities, right? And Krishna had his, and yes, maybe he was a great person, but I'm also that same great person. So such behavior is actually unintelligent, because I'm suffering at every step. So how can I claim to be the controller of the universe or the supreme being if I'm conditioned at every step by the laws of nature? And the laws of nature are very stringent. But as Maharaj mentioned, there's a similarity, or there's a reflection between the spiritual laws which govern his kingdom and those laws which are present here in this material world. So this male and female concept is actually present within the Supreme Lord, So he is the Purusha, or the Adi Purusha. So we say Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. That's the prayer. It's from the Brahma Samhita. We sing that every time we open the curtains after the Lord has been dressed. So Adi Purusha means the original person or the original enjoyer. So sometimes this Purusha, right? So it's said here, Purushasyapi, right? So she uses actually, she calls Krishna the Supreme Person twice in this verse. And Purusha means Krishna, actually. And so he's the original enjoyer. And we actually beg him, Tamaham bhajami, may I actually worship you. I beg to actually worship you. That's actually the essence of the Hare Krishna mantra. Same thing. I'm begging to worship you. I'm begging you to empower me to be absorbed in you. So I was thinking this morning about that we want to be purified. We're asking the Lord to purify us. We're asking the Lord to empower us. Purify the contamination of our heart, which is keeping us far away from His loving service and any other productive interactions in this material world. And then empower us to follow His instructions and be a servant of His parampara system, be an instrument of His will in this world while we're here. And also, we pray that we can be blessed with absorption in His personality and just always absorbed in Him and conscious of Him, Krishna conscious. So that's just one prayer, or So this material world, like I said, is like a reflection. So the branches of that tree are like the Vedas and the different processes of human society called Purusharthas. So there's Kama, Artha, Moksha, or pardon me, Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. So Dharma means we follow some rules, we'll do some religion, and what is the purpose? Artha, we'll get some benefits because we follow the laws of nature. Just like if you eat healthy, then you'll have vitality. Your bodily energies will be proper, right? So, or if you follow rules of cleanliness, then you won't become sick with some disease because there was an accident that happened by our unhygienic behavior. So this is dharma. That's dharma. And those things are described in the Vedas, which are compared to the leaves of the tree. Then is artha. So you get some benefits like a long lifespan or heavenly position in the heavenly planets and so on and so forth. You get Shrutashri, you become learned, you become beautiful, you get birth in a high family, like that. And you get wealth. So those are the different arthas that you get from being religious or righteous or healthy, you could say. Materially healthy. That's called dharma. So then you get artha. But then once you figure out, no matter how healthy I am, I'm still not spiritually satisfied because I cannot be satisfied with matter. There's still something I'm trying to be healthy to get, right? And that's why all of us are here. We're interested in what is that thing which I can achieve after having gotten some facilities in this material world. What is my purpose of life, right? And one ultimately becomes frustrated and says, well, I can give other people health and wealth and education, but they also have to die. So they're going to have to get another birth, and what can I actually do for them? I'm just giving them a temporary band-aid when there's a big disease underneath. You know, how can I? So then one becomes interested in also liberating himself, and there actually he goes for what's called moksha. So on the material goodness platform, one is actually trying to give benefits to the whole society. Then he gets a lot of benefits himself materially. But then even after all that, he's not happy spiritually. So then he thinks the next logical step is, oh, I'll become free from birth and death. Right? So he enjoys his sense gratification, right? That's called kama. That's the part I forgot to mention. So with all this artha, all these benefits that he got, then he tries to enjoy like anything, whether through, Prabhupada would say, family, friendship, and loves. You know, like that. We're trying to enjoy. So this is the same thing like Arjuna. Arjuna said, hey, I have to kill all these warriors. They're my brothers and friends on the battlefield. What's the point of killing all of them if I'm going to get the kingdom? How can I enjoy kingdom when all my friends are dead? You know, who can I share my kingdom with? That's the whole idea. You know, friends and family, society, exchange. So this is coming because Krishna has that quality of exchange. So this is the same principle as the real substance, the sat means the real existence within the spiritual world is from which all of these tendencies come within the parts and parcels. So he has tendencies to have friendship, society, and love, and exchange with his devotees. And we have that because it's within him, but we're looking in the wrong place. We're actually not loving, we're lusting. It can look innocent, but even the most innocent of love within this material world is tinged with selfish interest. Like Prabhupada would describe is the love of the mother for the child. She has to sacrifice for years just to get this baby boy or girl to take care of himself even a tiny bit. And it takes even longer than that. He may not actually grow up until he's 35 or something, you know. And the mother's still worrying about even after he can take care. And that's her love, that's her service. She just worries about us. And if she's a devotee, she's praying for us. And we're getting benefit from that. Definitely. Definitely. So anyway, the point I'm trying to say is even that is influenced by her actual desire to be a mother. She's not a mother. She's an eternal servant of Krishna. But she's inside of mommy's body. So she's actually, by her service to the child, she's actually getting some subtle sense gratification, identifying as a mother. Right? So even that is contaminated. So that's the problem. But the real love is with Krishna. So once we become more intelligent, then we're not interested in getting moksha in an artificial way. We're interested in getting liberation from the material world by service to Krishna. And that's where devotee is headed. If she's not interested in just becoming free from the material energy without devotion, therefore she's mentioning about Krishna. Okay, thank you very much. Does anybody have anything? Okay, Jagannath Prabhu, real quick.
Yes, Prabhu. I had a comment and a question. My comment was that I liked what you were saying about earlier about how the Vedic, everything in society is coming from the Vedas, and we can see that that's even true today in the modern world. Everything even for prayers, but especially for shreyas, like things that are good for our long-term benefit, they come all from the Vedas. Like your example of health. Health is, if you take care of your body, for a long period of time, then eventually we'll see the benefit in it. And that just goes to show how reliable and dependable the Vedas are. So that was a good point, and I really liked it, and I just wanted to share that. But my question was, in the purport, Prabhu was talking about how the living entity can be bewildered, but the Lord cannot be bewildered. So I was thinking about the Brahma Mohan Leela, and in that Leela, Lord Balaram, I think Prabhupada says in the Krishna book that somehow or other, by Krishna's will, Lord Balaram became bewildered because he didn't. I don't know. I'm not going to expand that, but my question is, why was it that Balaram was bewildered? And then what is the difference between his bewilderment and our bewilderment?
Thank you. So the Lord can be, the Lord has an energy called Yoga Maya. So that means that he, for the purpose of connection with his devotees, there's a little bit of bewilderment that he allows to himself to experience. He can simultaneously experience bewilderment, and his devotees can, and simultaneously be completely perfect and conscious and uncontaminated. So that's a mystical experience of being under the Lord's pleasure potency. And so if Lord Krishna wants to have an exchange with Lord Balaram, where Lord Balaram doesn't understand how Krishna could do what he had done, just to sweeten up that relationship between himself and Balaram, then he can put that, that Shakti, that potency just falls upon Balaram automatically like this. And if he wants the devotee to be fully conscious of his activities and understand what the Lord had done and what his will is, or what he intends to do, or so on and so forth, and that will sweeten the relationship between them. Oh, he gets it. Like there's no veil there. There's an understanding. Then that sweetens the relationship. So such are the mysteries of the Lord's personal pastimes. Personal, He wants it to be, sweet with rasa. So we can actually learn about these things more and more, or hear about them at least from the bhakti, from nectar of devotion. We hear about these different relationships that Krishna has with his devotees, and it's all powered by Yoga Maya, because otherwise he's God. So if they're acting with him like he's just their friend, that's not normal. Slap him on the back and jump on his back because we beat him in the game, and make jokes about him, or things like that. He's God. So therefore, this is the amazing thing about Vraj Bhakti, or the devotion which is found in Vraj, which is the place of Krishna's pastimes, Vrindavan, Goloka. Okay, thank you very much. I think we'll close here. If anybody has any further comments, then please add to the chat. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to some devotees.